Now's a good time to remember where tequila's story truly began. In 1795, Cuervo invented tequila.
Cuervo.
What are you doing here?
Cuervo. Anytime someone says Cuervo, I show up.
Well, I do know that to be true, but even during ad reads, like...
Cuervo.
I think he could lay out, especially for one of our great partners.
Sweet, delicious Cuervo.
Since then, Cuervo has stayed true to its roots. The same family, the same land, the same passion.
Cuervo.
So, enjoy the tequila that started it all. Cuervo.
Cuervo.
The tequila that invented tequila. Proximo. Cuervo.com. Please drink responsibly.
Cuervo.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
Stugotz, I have to say that a couple of the reality ideas so far have not really worked. They've fallen apart. I don't know why this bounce house is back in here, now inflated and right side up, as opposed to before when he did the Tony takeover and the bounce house was upside down. We now have video, though, courtside that we never got live when we went out to the gym before and tried to go to Tony with a fan of the show, Stugotz, wearing a Poppy t-shirt. You could get it, lebatardaf.com. Tony Reale, we started buffering on the video as soon as he was going to give us the highlight of being dunked on for the cause of making America a more positive place by being a sacrificial lamb for a fan of the show in order to get us a moment where he gets dunked on that he wants to go viral that will absolutely not go viral. Let's check that out.
All right, John, we're going to spread some positivity here. You told me you could dunk. We're going to see if you can do it right now. I'm going to take this one. Take one for the team here. Here we go.
See, Tony would do anything. He does anything for television. He does. Yes, look, it is positive, right?
I felt more positive in my life.
Are those rims? Those rims are short, right?
Oh, no doubt. You think Tony could dunk? I mean,
those rims are short, correct?
Yes.
Those are not 10-foot rims.
No.
I don't think he can dunk with such ease.
Okay, so, well.
Wow.
I have been told that they are 9 feet. I don't understand why that bounce house is still in here. I want to remember, Stugotz, because South Florida, one of the reasons Reale failed today so far is because he was here to go get South Florida fans and feel the Panther buzz, the championship buzz that's all around us.
Yeah. That
hasn't been seen in this town since last year at this time when we had this parade outdoors to celebrate that that Greg Cody had won forever, that Connor McDavid was indeed overrated. Let's check in with last year's parade here through the heart of downtown Miami. Your general thoughts on Greg Cody?
I can't believe he's still working in the profession of sports. I thought he would have been in those one of those retirement farms or whatever. Look at him right there.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. There is Greg Cody. We wanted to bring him in. He is doing his personal victory lap. You can see that he's outside and he's doing his personal parade.
Where's the people? Where are the fans?
Well, they're late arriving. They're
on the plane back to Edmonton.
Some of them are sleeping. Yes, some of them flew back to Edmonton. There's Greg Cody taking a personal parade. It's a little bit different than the one that the Celtics had, slightly, but
it's early.
We are. Well, these things require planning.
Word will get out.
Planning. There's Greg Cody.
The fanfare.
Let's have him out there the entire show.
In the middle of his victory lap.
The entire show.
All right, fade down there because, Stugotz, I think we might get a chance to do this again. Wednesday, we might get a chance to do this again with a game in South Florida. I don't know why Mike and Zaslow or Roy would be afraid of a Game 7 in Edmonton.
Just run back the one from last year. I mean,
I'm not afraid of the game. I'm afraid of the travel.
What do you mean why we wouldn't be afraid of a Game 7? Like, it's hockey, and literally any puck can bounce any stupid way. What do you mean, why would I not be afraid?
Because you've got an all-time road team playing at the height of stakes.
You'd still be afraid, though, Dan.
I know
in a one-game scenario.
Road team. They got Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, and they're pretty damn good their own. You hit a piece of chunky ice, your season's over. That's why you want to avoid a one-game sample.
Who wouldn't be afraid of Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final?
Any one-game scenario in which you're rooting for your favorite team to win, whether it's football, hockey, basketball, baseball, of course it's going to make you nervous.
Look, no, I'm not. I am not saying that I don't understand why it is in any circumstance, any fan base would be scared of a Game 7 in any sport.
Right. Okay.
I have been covering sports for more than 30 years.
We're just making sure.
I'm
Glad we agree.
I'm under no misunderstanding.
Go on.
However, because the Florida Panthers are an all-time road team, when I tell you 25-11 in the playoffs on the road since 2023, that record is with teams not as good as this one, polluting what this one is doing, because when it goes on the road, it has a goal disparity. And in those games, an absurd goal disparity of plus 30.
Right. Well, they could be plus 29 and have 12 losses on the road, and it's still super impressive. And you lose a one-game sample on the road against the best player of his generation. It can happen. You stated it. We're nervous about it because it's only the most obvious thing in the world for any fan.
Yes.
We can get to that attitude if we get to Game 7. Right now, I think everyone's pretty much united here. Let's do it Game 6.
This is what I am rooting for. You're allowed to root for something else. I am rooting for the Panthers in Game 7 to win more road playoff games than a team has ever won, to cement their legacy in winning 2 of 3 because they went to Edmonton to win the third one because they didn't give a bleep about where the games were played.
The Panthers this postseason do have a little bit of a history of playing with their food.
Yep, they do. They do, and if you can have that moment, hey, they went to 2 Game 7s against the Edmonton Oilers. I guess it adds to their legacy. Last time they played a Game 7, there were reputable writers saying this is the biggest hockey game of all time. So I can only imagine that becomes the biggest hockey game of all time. Would love to handle it in 6.
Just so we're clear, Dan, you're rooting for the Panthers to lose at home Game 6, right?
I'm rooting for the best thing in sports.
Game 7.
Panthers to win Game 6.
Watching your team lift a trophy in front of its home fans.
Silence is everywhere. Roy, you tell me how happy you were making the flight to Edmonton and doing the broadcast from the silence of that tomb.
Oh, man, it was glorious. It was a pin drop up into the Connor McDavid goal.
Right.
Like, you couldn't hear a thing in that crowd, man.
But you have no
Nobody
interest
was
in
saying
going
anything.
back, right?
No, absolutely.
You got to pick a side here, Roy. 1 minute it's great, the other minute the travel's terrible. Like, did you like it or not?
He doesn't have to pick a side. He's going to joylessly hoist the cup.
That's right.
Angry and tired, he's going to hold it up and be, this is the happiest day of my life, and you're going to look at his face, and he's going to look sour.
Listen, they didn't get it done in Game 6 versus Toronto. They didn't get it done in Game 4 versus Carolina. Get it done tonight. No, on Tuesday. Get it done on Tuesday.
Okay, that's fine. We can do the whole get it done, we're tired thing. You can't dispute what I'm saying, that better for everyone involved, hockey, sports fans, everyone, better for everyone except you guys who are scared of a Game 7, is for Edmonton to do the same kind of thing they've done in 2 games where they score with 17 seconds left in regulation, or they come back from down 3-0 in the first period because they're able to do something against the Panthers no other team's able to do.
Dude, he did this last year. Don't do this again to me.
I mean, he got his way last year. Why are we having a debate here? Yeah, most neutrals would want a Game 7, and most fans of the Florida Panthers, outside of a sicko, and I'm disappointed in you bang the drum, would say, you know what? Let's do it in Edmonton. I prefer to risk.
I'm not even actually saying. I'm not saying that it is what I prefer. I'm saying what is better is Game 7.
It's irrefutable. It's not a debate.
Okay, and so you guys are the only ones rooting for something, and I'm with you.
We're Panther fans.
But you're the only ones rooting for something other than that, because Panthers in 6 doesn't make this an all-time series. This does not become an all-time series.
It makes them an all-time team.
But the Panthers in 6 does not make this an all-time series.
Right. Well, when you say you guys, you mean all Panther fans.
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. Not much of a debate.
Don't you want something nice for the Panther fans besides winning the Stanley Cup? They won it on the road. Win one at home. That'd be such a great feeling for Panther fans.
Yes, of course.
How about Harry Astor, who has been there since 1999? How about Walter Katz, an original season ticket holder? Don't you want those people to have the pleasure of seeing their team hoist the cup on their home ice?
They won at home last year.
So Harry had that luxury last year, and I guess so did Walter Katz. Well, congratulations to both of them. That's very nice. Good job by the Panthers. Don't you want them to have it again? I mean, Harry Astor has been there since 1999. Dave Walter Katz, an original season ticket holder. He invented the rat. He threw the first rat on the ice. Walter Katz did. Walter Rats.
Marchant is now known as the Rat King. I don't know how Mike...
You keep making him a board off from the 790 days.
Mike Marchant.
Marchand espectacular!
What do you think he said?
Zaz, I have good news for you. Ticket prices are plummeting here.
Yeah.
Like I see them under $800 right now.
Yeah, get in price.
So like I would wait because you may be able to love both your children tomorrow.
Yep.
I mean, I love both my children today.
No.
We have to get to the stakes involved with making this a real bet, because I heard some great ideas by Mike during the break for the losing bet. If Zaslow loses this bet, he does get to keep working with us and around us, but he has to come in with a hair system of Mike's choosing every day to do the broadcast.
What is a hair system?
And
What does that mean?
And isn't allowed to have any say-so over what that looks like or to mention it. So he just has to do it as if it's his new broadcasting look, and then get all the texts from friends wondering, are you doing that on purpose? Why are you doing that? And he's not allowed to explain it.
Even in my
to
text,
everyone.
I said, what are you
You're
talking
not
about?
allowed- You're
You
not
keep kayfabe.
You have to, for a period of time that we have not decided. The bet is every broadcast you do here, you have to take off the backward cap and you have to slather on that surface area that is your forehead a hair system of Mike's choosing.
What is a hair system?
Have you ever seen Baseball Tonight?
Oh, no.
There you go.
No.
Yes.
Have you ever watched Kansas play men's basketball?
Yes.
All right.
Right.
Two people at the center of those two things, hair systems.
Okay, I think I see what you're doing.
A toupee of some sort, although I don't think we're calling them toupees anymore. In fact, I'd love to know two things.
It's a piece.
I'd love to know
System.
when we stopped calling them toupees. Put it on the poll at Batard Show. When did we stop calling them toupees? I'd also like to know when we started making birthday cake flavor such a popular thing. Was that with Cold Stone, or was that at another time in our lives where all of a sudden birthday cake flavor became something that everyone had to have? I do remember when I had it for the first time at Cold Stone. I'd never experienced
It's
it
good?
before that. Yeah, it's do you
Little
not
too
know?
sweet.
Do you
Little too
not-
sweet.
You don't know birthday cake
No,
flavor?
I only do vanilla or chocolate ice cream.
Put it on the poll
Really?
at Batard Show. Do you love birthday cake flavored things? I wanted to play for you guys for a second before I play something funny from NASCAR. I wanted to play for you guys something not funny from the Brevard County Sheriff that was going viral over the weekend, because I think we can all agree, hugely dangerous time in America, also a weird time in America, whatever your feelings about this weekend. That military parade was an embarrassment, and the American people sort of objected in a way that, Stugotz, I don't know what's accurate in terms of numbers, but if it's 13 million people, it's 1% of the American population, and that would make it one of the biggest protests numerically against what is happening in Washington that we've ever had in America of any kind. But as this fight rages on, and we're just beginning at the start of this presidency, and after the presidency is just really executing some of the things that they ran as a platform to keep honest the immigration story, this is the hostility that you have rising from people like, I think this is Brevard County in Florida, in a state that's weaponized, in a state where it's safe when the states are going to start fighting between Florida and California. This is what you have policing in the state of Florida.
If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired, because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to play.
So that is the beginning of this, Stugotz, and that's a reaction to peaceful protests. That's what the reaction is to the idea that, we might not want to other others so much that it's hateful, and police state will take over and say, yes, we will continue to protect the white people from the threat of immigration, except in the exceptions of the meat packing and hotels and restaurants and the places where we need these people because America needs the economic benefits of continuing to eat well.
Yes, Donald Trump posted a Truth Social thing, and it's not the first time he's alluded to this, that there should be special carve-outs for anybody working on a farm.
Yeah, we know what's being protected here. The food
Not
is being
super thought
protected.
out.
The needed immigrants who are not illegal, who make the economy run, and if there are more hurricanes in Florida, who will help rebuild Florida as they run the risk of peaceful protests being, if they're in the street, run over by police cars, according to that Brevard County sheriff.
Right. I think there's general buy-in, though, on a lot of the things that he said, and most people in a vacuum, like if you attack a police officer, most people understand that there are consequences that come with that. Also, when it comes to de-escalating protest and just general means of crowd control, maybe that is a bit of an aggressive tone to set. And I
Kill you, graveyard dead?
Yeah, and I think I saw a veteran actually weigh in on this and how the military is trained, because they get projectiles thrown at them all the time when they are in war zones, and they are trained to not shoot at unarmed people, to keep things secure, to keep crowds under control. So it was curious to see such an aggressive counterpoint to that. The right has been very good at conflating peaceful protests with rioters. Everyone just assumes if you're out demonstrating your voice and your freedom of speech that you're part of a movement that is violent, and that is not the case.
Where's Reale?
Reale went outside to cause more chaos and said that he would be back in moments.
I've got answers on the birthday cake stuff.
Well, that is the
I
important
need some
question from
positivity.
that Brevard
Yeah.
County sheriff thing that I did want to take.
So, in terms of being regarded as an upscale flavor, Momofuku released a milk bar in 2008 that received a lot of acclaim. However, I traced back the invention of the birthday cake remix at Cold Stone to 2004. Everyone agrees this was a turn-of-the-century type of deal. I think the popularizing of birthday cake as a flavor was done by Cold Stone Creamery.
Wow. Okay, so the first time I tasted
Great
Cold
breakdown.
Stone, and I do remember the first time I tasted it, I was at Gulfstream. I was like, what is this? This is the most amazing thing I've ever tasted. You remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You were there with me, I think.
Of course I was.
At the very beginning, when the awe and wonder.
I put you there.
This would be not surprising to anyone listening to this, that I would speak with awe and wonder of the discovery of birthday cake flavor, the way a child would talk about meeting a Disney character in the Magic Kingdom, or the way a fat kid would talk about candy.
It's a bit sweet, though, the whole birthday cake thing, I think.
I don't think we're going to get a lot of people who don't like that flavor.
The Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is sponsored by Liquid IV. All right, so I'm getting ready for another beach weekend with the boys. The finals game on the TV, sun, maybe even some grilling if my brother doesn't burn the hot dogs again, which there's no guarantee he won't. And with this Miami heat, hydration is not optional. That's why I'm packing Liquid IV everywhere I go. They just dropped a new flavor, Arctic Raspberry, and it's a game changer. Cold, crisp, refreshing, and it tastes like a glacier. Slapped you in the face in a good way, baby. Hell yeah. I always keep a few sticks in my bag, just tear it, pour into 16 ounces of water, and boom, it hydrates better than water alone. It's got 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drinks, plus vitamins and none of the junk. No sugar, no gluten, no dairy, none of it. And they've got all the flavors: white peach, lemon lime, rainbow sherbet. Yes, I said rainbow sherbet. This isn't just hydration. It's a summer dessert in your water bottle, no matter what your summer brings. Tear, pour, live more. Go to liquidiv.com and get 20% off your first order with code Dan at checkout. That's 20% off your first order with code Dan at liquidiv.com.
Look, as a small business, we don't get to clock out, ever. We're always on, nights, weekends, holidays. So, when it came time to hire someone, we couldn't waste time. We needed help. Real help. Not Stugotz knows a guy help. We used LinkedIn Jobs. And we'll be honest, we didn't expect it to be that easy. We posted the job for free. LinkedIn basically held our hand and wrote the description for us. Next thing you know, candidates, qualified ones, not resumes written in crayon, real people who want to work. Imagine that. LinkedIn gives you all the tools, deep insights, easy filtering, one place to manage everything. We even threw the little hashtag hiring frame on our profile picture, doubled the number of applicants. Now we're part of that 72% of small businesses that say LinkedIn helps them find high-quality candidates. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/DLS. That's linkedin.com/DLS to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
We all think we know where our money's going until you actually look for it. And it happened to me between food delivery, teeth earrings for the baby, random Amazon orders. Life and things add up fast. That's where Monarch Money comes in. It's like having my own personal CEO, but one that doesn't judge me for ordering sushi 4 nights in a row. Listen, my wife really likes spicy tuna right now. What do you want me to tell you? Monarch brings all your accounts, credit cards, and investments together so you finally get the full picture. We started using it to track our spending and set goals that feel real. And you can see everything clearly, what you're spending, what you're saving, and what you should be doing. And it's not about restricting you, it's about helping you build the life you want. Whether you're juggling money solo or trying to get on the same page with someone else, Monarch makes it simple. It's why over 1 million households are using it and why the Wall Street Journal named it the best budgeting app of 2025. Get control of your overall finances with Monarch Money. Use code Dan at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code Dan.
Dan Le Batard.
Florida claws back from down 2-0 because they were getting their asses handed to them by Toronto to then get lit a fire underneath them by their head coach, Paul Maurice, who did the thing. Remember how the run was sparked last year?
Stugotz.
He called them a bunch of P's and B's. He did the thing again. Called them a bunch of P's and B's, and then, boom, 5 unanswered. You win the division.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
I do think the hockey conversation, though, is interesting from the Oilers' perspective. I understand that our love and myopia of this little weird thing in South Florida that represents something more excellent than just about anything we've ever known, because we're on the cusp of making this an all-time team. Like, when I say the all-time team.
They're on the cusp,
Yes, but you've got the 72-73 Dolphins.
Yep.
That's 50 years ago. You've got the heat of LeBron and Wade.
Yeah.
And we are a game away from this thing representing like the greatest excellence we've ever known in South Florida sports, deserving of all the praise that it gets from everywhere, because everyone in the sport understands how great this thing is. It's a crazy thing to watch them get the respect of everyone in the sport, and to watch Edmonton's fan base, which cares so much about this, and Canada's fan base, which cares so much about this, have to watch this be great in Florida for 10 years. Watch Florida take over, because it's South Florida taking over from what Tampa was doing. For Canada to watch this has to hurt so much and be hard to understand. They've got the best player in the game.
Which is why they often go to state taxes.
Well, I think people who love hockey also understand that. It's who the Panthers are doing it against and how they're doing it. They're doing it against what many people will say is the best player of this generation, and they're doing it against a team that many people say are more talented than the Florida Panthers. Like, they have the best 2 or 3 guys on the ice. You can debate that all you want, but they're doing it against a team that's supposed to also be historic.
I have information here that our bet is rounding into shape, but that also Tony Reale wants the Tony takeover to continue. And I think so far, I'm not going to call it a failed project, but a couple of the things that he has tried to do as part of this takeover have landed less well than I would like, which works better for our show than most things, but still puts a bounce house in this room uncomfortably over my shoulder for reasons I can't explain. I also don't understand why he inflated it upside down.
Why are you saying like this is going to be? You have to have a positive attitude. Come over here.
What are you doing? What's happening right now?
Ari are going to walk over this.
What is happening right now?
Well, you have like a bounce house.
It seems like a liability.
No, I mean,
guys.
Girls, can you go through there with Uncle Tony, bologna, macaroni, pepperoni?
We've got the
and then we
Stanley
have Cannon over here. You have the Stanley Cup.
Bologna.
Come on.
We've got the Stanley Cup final right now. Tony, Phoney, Bologna.
Nice, Tone.
All right, this is not what. Okay,
be
the
careful.
bounce.
Whoa,
all right, let's not hurt
Very
anybody
good.
here.
Nice
all right,
slide. That was very good.
All right, this I'm
very
worried.
impressed.
I'm worried about the dangers and the liabilities
Uncle
of a
Dan
child
is a
being
very,
harmed.
very salty guy, but he needs to embrace the positivity, and I love what you're doing there.
think you're sucking up too
Maybe
much
Uncle Tony Baloney is going to get out of here for a second because I'm throwing off the weight.
Structural
Inflating the air, yeah.
But I wanted to meet my new friend.
Tony Bologna's a little heavy for the bounce house. The bounce house appears to be falling apart.
Weight limit.
I feel for this gentleman on Father's Day allowing his children in our care.
We have wonderful family
very
from
bad judgment
East
from this
Texas.
family. Very
Baby
bad
Cannon
judgment.
is
He's
with
about
us.
to retire.
And then we have a family from Indiana
These
here
are
as well.
borrowed children.
These are
please be careful.
children
kids.
belong to all of us.
There
These
are
are
too many
wonderful.
kids in here.
Like any
This
of
is
these
what
phrases.
positive. Look, are you having fun? Ari, Addison, are you having fun? Yes.
Does this slide have
Yes.
water? Is this also something that has?
No, this does not
seems
have water.
dangerous.
This
It
is
can.
comes straight from the
That's a
camp.
child's
Last one.
foot I just
Very
saw.
nice.
last
Yes,
one.
yes. Last one.
Want me
We're
to get
going for the
water, or-
last one. See, so I wanted to ask the girls, do you think the Panthers should lose Game 6 on purpose to have a Game 7? Because that's what you think
that
is a very
I do
positive.
Think, I do think it's positive. Good for the
My
sport.
friend is a Grouch. You
Good.
know who Oscar the Grouch is? You wouldn't know. That was an old man from a long time ago. But this is Oscar the Grouch with a little.
You
cookie
realized
monster.
halfway through, didn't you?
Yeah,
She's not
well,
gonna
You
do
have
that.
kids. How do you
Oh,
go
man.
Oscar the
And he just
Grouch
got
there?
defunded. That's all.
You're a father.
trash
Are you
can.
not Oscar the Grouch? Okay, yeah. There we go.
How do you not know a more
done,
modern
sweetie.
reference than
You
Oscar
guys
the
set
Couch,
the world
Grouch?
record.
Is there one?
Excellent
World
work,
record
kids.
for bouncy houses. Walk with me.
Thank you.
That's Mr. Dan, Oscar the Grouch. Call him the Grouch, okay?
Yeah, the Grouch.
And this is Mr. Stu. Mr.
Okay,
Stu's
that's
a fun
a lot
guy.
of respect.
High
A
fives.
lot of respect for
Thank you
Stugotz.
so much, girls. You made my day more positive because
Thank you,
this
Tony.
Grouch doesn't understand.
That's right.
Kids need to play.
Okay, thank you, Tony. It's good to see you again. That'll be here all week.
Well, that worked.
I don't mean to threaten you guys, but that'll be here all week.
The bounce house.
I hope the bounce house isn't here all week. I hope we have another clip set up of Greg Cody there from the parade last year so that we can do this again on Wednesday or after Game 7, either day. I want you to imagine this from Edmonton's perspective for a second straight year. I want you to imagine Edmonton with the best player in the sport losing in either 6 or 7 games and having to endure a face full of this again. Greg, you feel vindicated? How scared? Hold on a second, Chris.
Hey, you too.
Chris,
Thank you.
Chris, how scared?
that?
How scared was your father? Do you have any idea how scared he was in the press box? Because he was legitimately fearing harm, that someone would harm him after the game if they lost.
He was trying to act when I talked to him like he wasn't feeling the pressure of the whole McDavid thing, and I was feeling the pressure of it. So I don't know how he wasn't, but this is such a ridiculous shot we have
Greg,
right
your
here.
honest appraisal, you were scared. You were scared last night, right? I just told people that you were telling me, hey, Dan, you might have a liability issue on your hands if I get hurt after the game tomorrow night or last night because someone hurts me after the game after they've lost.
He's too engulfed in the celebration.
It's hard to hear with the crowd.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Another fan over there. Thank you.
Yeah. Can he no
Yeah.
longer? Can he
She
no
looks
longer
familiar.
hear me?
He doesn't care.
Must be a coincidence.
We'll come back to
Cynthia
him.
look-alike.
Stugotz, I have a couple of things that I need to get to. One of them is NASCAR related,
Right.
and also, what are you laughing about, Billy?
Just Greg saying at the end of the clip, a Cynthia lookalike because she was walking in as the parade was going by.
He really sold the whole parade.
He really did. I thought there were a lot of people there.
There were not. We've got the bet locked in with Zaslow, I am told. But before we do that, let's get to the NASCAR sound here and video. Mike, what's the setup we need on this?
So the setup that you need is Carson Hocevar is this new hotshot driver that's in the Cup Series. A lot of people think that he's going to end up signing with Hendrick Motorsports, which is like the prestige brand for NASCAR. He's got a lot of learning to do, and he's rubbed some drivers quite literally the wrong way. And in a couple weeks, over the course of a couple of weeks in the season, he is unfortunately, not by his intention, just by driving like a rookie, taken out Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in a couple of races. They almost came to blows last week. Remember, Ricky Stenhouse was a dude that punched Kyle Busch in the face at last year's All-Star race. He's capable of some violence. So, you know that scene in Happy Gilmore where the ball lands on Jaws' foot and they're like, what are the chances? Hocevar wrecks out once again in Mexico City.
I don't think that guy is named Jaws. I think he was just Jaws in the 007 franchise. I don't think that guy's name
His name is Jaws.
His name is not Jaws.
Well, Vern Troyer was referred to as Mini-Me for a very long time because it was an iconic role.
That was his name.
Yeah. So Hocevar wrecks again. However, he takes out the one person he shouldn't have taken out, which is once again Ricky Stenhouse. So After the race, Ricky Stenhouse exchanges some words with Carson Hocevar.
I'm going to beat your ass. You're a lap down. You got nothing to do. Why are you going right into me? Second time. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. I already dressed. I already get back in the
I'm going to beat your ass when we get back to the States.
Pull up.
Pull up. I guess he's worried about what the laws might be in Mexico.
Right now, he's not going to beat his ass there. But when we get back to the airport in the United States, that's when the ass kicking is going to take place. Right when we get through customs.
I don't know if we have the IndyCar video. We'll take a second to cue that up, but it wasn't even the best video from the Motorsports weekend. We had to change the music to something royalty-free so we wouldn't get pinged on the YouTube, but this is exactly how this went on the broadcast. Joseph Newgarden, who is basically a parody of an American race car driver, leans into his good looks. He is driving with no issue at the IndyCar race. They cut to some B-roll of him hamming it up for the cameras,
Right.
and then they come back, and it's comedically perfect. Here it is.
No one makes me feel like I do. Just the look in your eyes, smile on your face. No one makes me feel that way.
Oh, huge accident. Joseph Newgarden upside down on the front straight.
And his helmet causing those sparks.
Absolutely massive.
It's exactly
Joseph Newgarden is upside down.
how it happened on the broadcast. Everything good, adult contemporary music, hamming it up for the cameras, cut back live. He's upside down, his head is dragging across the asphalt. One more time, please.
And those are sparks coming from his helmet because that's his head. That seems like a lot of friction to cause sparks all over the place.
Re-rack. One more time this video. This is how it happened on the broadcast.
No one makes me feel like I do. Just the look in your eyes, smile on your face. No one makes me feel that way.
That's not a small amount of sparks either.
Down on the
Oh
front
my
straight.
God. It's horrifying.
Dan, this is what I was worried about when we had the kids in the studio. This is.
It sounded noisy back there. It sounded unsafe.
Yeah.
It sounded dangerous. This begins the reality takeover for the week. I want to play him some sound here of Charles Barkley. This is after OKC wins that game late to make it 2-2. Here is Charles Barkley, biggest star in all of sports broadcasting.
Yeah, I think they're in trouble because when you have a team on the ropes, you got to finish them off. If you go up 3-1, you're in great shape. But now you go back. You know Oklahoma City, number one, got a better team. They got a better team. Now they're back to their original starting lineup, which will be better next game. Then they realize, like, man,
missed a lot of shots.
We got to play our bench more. We're back to the thing that got us to the NBA Finals. We're going to go back big. We can dominate them on the boards like we did. And they're going back to Oklahoma City. I think this series is a wrap.
Oh, it's a wrap.
What?
It's a wrap.
What?
Barkley's declared it's a wrap. Jaws from 007 is on the screen. He was terrifying.
Series is tied 2-2. It's as exciting as it could be after 4 games. The series is over.
It's a wrap.
Each team has won a road game.
It's over.
I understand because the NBA dropped the ball and they didn't have a finals game on Father's Day. We're not talking about it.
Terrible
that was
job.
a gut check victory for OKC
It was.
on Friday.
It's been a great series.
That was a championship resolve. They were dead in the water.
It's over. Don't have to watch
I think
anymore.
this series is a wrap.
I'm going to give you guys the stat again, lest you not understand what OKC just did. It wasn't just the third lowest assist game of the season for OKC, and all 3 of them are in the series. Like, Indiana is not allowing them to play the basketball they want to play. The Pacers had 1 field goal in the last 5 minutes, 1 point in the last 3 minutes, but anytime a team has put up the stat line OKC did, 10 or fewer assists, 15 or more turnovers, less than 20% from 3, that team is over 82 with
They made
that stat
3
line.
threes.
3 threes. 3. All mid-range game and free throws. And Reality's smiling because I got notes.
I didn't know you did it like this. Look at this chicken scratch over here. Gnats and dinosaurs and read
them to us. Yes.
I know what that's about.
Yes, read them too. Yes, we can read them.
Reveal the notes. We fly by the seat of our pants.
What happened with the
Wow.
dinosaurs?
I used to take points away and around the
Extinct.
horn when I saw somebody's eyes go below the camera, so I knew they taped something on the camera. Yeah, that's
You're
the
anti-prep?
We would deduct points for that.
deduct
right?
points.
Yeah,
absolutely,
of course.
Stu. That happened to you once.
Well, Well, but wait a minute. You were telling me before you left the studio that Mike Ryan is going to get in the pantheon of all-time bad takes of Around the Horn's 23-year history, that he's got a comparable bad take to some of the worst ever given on Around the Horn.
If he goes out and wins a cup and is the Conn Smythe Trophy winner, I mean...
And you said he was a bad player at the start of this.
He's not going to be a Conn Smythe winner. Let's stop that. Don't speak that into existence.
What if he has a hat trick tomorrow night?
That certainly tightens the race between.
And then another one, Game 7 too.
Hat trick and a loss tomorrow night, and then another hat trick and a win.
I got to tell you, McDavid needs one of those. It's a must-score game for McDavid. Not a must-win. He has to score a couple of goals.
Well, it is a must-win.
And meaningful goals.
And a must-win.
It's not a must-win.
It is a must-win.
It's a must-score for McDavid, okay? He needs to get the Oilers out to a 2-0 lead. Period. End of discussion.
It was a bad sports take. Thankfully, I capitulated on that sports take. But my general point on him is, I mean, you can't prove me wrong on that. He's bad, not happy for him.
The all-time Around the Horn worst takes are...
Well, Pablo Torre picked a 16 over a 1 seed every year. And, of course, as history and fate smiled upon all of us, the other 16 won. Minus 150 points. Oh, there we go. That was there's multiple all-time bad takes from Stu here.
Yeah.
One of them being that face that he's making right there. Yeah. Jackie McMullen guaranteed that Doc Rivers would not leave the Celtics to coach the Los Angeles Clippers. She said you could take 500 points away from me, and I did when he left for the Clippers. David Dennis Jr. this past year said Bill Belichick will not be on the sidelines for UNC in September. Now, I had to do some creative scoring here because we're not going to see September on Around the Horn. But we got to a point there. He lost minus 501. So would Marchand winning the cup and the Conn Smythe after,
How about just winning the cup with 10 goals and 10 assists in 22 playoff games?
From calling him a rotational winger and not a good hockey player at the time that he joined the Florida Panthers, that is 6 feet underground, dead wrong.
Graveyard dead.
Yeah, that was a bad take. I apologize for that take. Now,
do you feel in some way you motivated him?
Look, we don't need to have that discussion. Yeah. But if you're asking me to change my point of view on Brad Marchand,
not now.
Before the second biggest game,
don't do
in
it.
Franchise history. You don't know me very well.
Yep.
Brad Marchand is spectacular.
What he said.
That's my guy.
Roy, how are you feeling about? How are you feeling about when you saw Tony Reale? He hugged you.
Yes.
It was a very warm moment.
Yes.
Except
I got nothing back in return, and that's okay. We'll get there.
Will we?
Yeah, we'll get there. Roy and I will get there.
All he gave you was "I'm tired" as you held him.
He flew internationally.
Yeah, well, if they lose on Tuesday, you won't see me because I have to go back to Edmonton.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do you want any hugs after you've flown internationally?
Tony seems very understanding of the situation.
Yeah, he does.
I have a simple rule for hugs, okay? And the hugs are actually the same rule for Disney cast members in the park.
Right.
When a child hugs Mickey Mouse, and Goofy, or all these people, the instruction is you do not let go until that child lets go. The child dictates how long the hug is. So I go in big to Roy, and it was dictated to me immediately that this hug was going to go for 1/10 of one more second, and that was the end of it. And I have to live by those rules. That's how I live my life.
Yeah, he got 3 pats on the back, and I was out of there.
Yeah.
Huh.
And you said you were tired.
Yeah.
And that was
tired.
and you haven't seen him in how long?
Since your wedding.
Yeah, since the wedding. Yeah.
How many years ago?
We've chatted a lot online.
Oh yeah, we definitely.
So when was the last time you saw each other? He held you. You got out of the embrace very quickly.
5 years. It's been 5 years.
COVID.
But no, we solidified. We solidied the relationship.
Just general male repression.
It was a bro hug.
Pretty much.
We have the bet finalized. What's the final?
I don't know if we have it finalized.
We decided to not take a side in tonight's NBA Finals game because all you Hoopers tell me that when OKC wins, they win big and they're favored. So we're not going to do a spread thing here, but we're going to do something based on player performance. If you check DraftKings Sportsbook, it is a priced plus 145 bet to take the over on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. 50-plus points, rebounds, and assists.
It's not a winnable bet. You know how many times he's done that this postseason? Twice.
Well,
it's not a winnable bet.
What do you mean it's not? It's only plus 145 on DraftKings Sportsbook. Those aren't terrible odds.
Oh, that's fine, but it's happened twice.
Well, you can't just take the regular over/under. You gotta juice this one up a bit.
And here's the thing:
that thing's still blowing hot air.
Yeah, it is. I thought you were just pointing at my face.
Put that up in the poll. What's blowing more hot air today, the bouncy house or Le Batard?
And I'm taking both my kids.
No, you're not
one kid.
Well, hold on.
You got no. You're wait. You're out.
That's not fair to him.
Reality's making the rules.
You
One
get
kid.
2 tickets. No, you
See,
get 2
here's the
tickets.
thing, Reality. Reality he'll understand this. I'm all about show material. But one of my sons, they're going to remember the rest of their life. They're going to be devastated.
Well, you can give
my
both
son's
tickets.
well-being is more important than show material.
The show material is
not,
you outside the arena with a transistor radio, listening to the game like it's 1964.
Right, I'm going to have to give my boys the tickets, yes.
And your boys get the tickets.
You have 2 tickets. You make that decision.
Yeah.
All right?
Okay,
You make
all right.
that decision.
All right, then. And what's the, if I lose?
I'm going to take this hair thing very seriously. We're going to go into consultations.
Systems.
I pick a hair system of my choosing for several days in the summer.
What is this?
Look, as a small business, we don't get to clock out, ever. We're always on. Nights, weekends, holidays. So, when it came time to hire someone, we couldn't waste time. We needed help. Real help. Not Stugotz knows a guy help. We used LinkedIn Jobs. And we'll be honest, we didn't expect it to be that easy. We posted the job for free. LinkedIn basically held our hand and wrote the description for us. Next thing you know, candidates, qualified ones, not resumes written in crayon, real people who want to work. Imagine that. LinkedIn gives you all the tools, deep insights, easy filtering, one place to manage everything. We even threw the little hashtag hiring frame on our profile picture, doubled the number of applicants. Now we're part of that 72% of small businesses that say LinkedIn helps them find high-quality candidates. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/DLS. That's linkedin.com/DLS to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Howdy, folks. It's Mike Ryan. Now, if you've been listening to the show a lot lately, you've heard so much playoff talk. Playoff hoops. Down here in South Florida, we're especially enamored with playoff hockey. It's not just limited to the playoffs. Motorsports, tennis, golf. It's truly one of the best times in the sporting calendar. And with the weather outside warming up, it's just perfect to hop in a pool, maybe grill up some food, but most certainly crack open some Miller Lights. I just described a pretty perfect day, didn't I? And it culminates with Miller time. There's something about a perfect grilling day. The sun's out, friends show up, and that first sip of Miller Lite just hits different. I've been stocking up the cooler with it for years. This year, Miller Lite turns 50. That is 5 decades of cookouts, laughs, and ice-cold moments that never miss. And if you've listened to the show for its 20-year existence, you know this to be true. Miller Lite. Great taste. 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Cheers to 50 years of Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.